Hello and welcome everybody to today's edition of Mexico News Network's Breaking News. I'm your host, Elliot Bullman. Remember to follow us on all our social networks and to catch us every day by logging on to our website, mexiconewsnetwork.com, for relevant stories and news. Let's start with today's show. Clean energy is beginning to play an important role in power generation in Mexico and the world, and this is a response to the devastating impact that the environment has suffered. Sustainable Energy Supply in Mexico, otherwise known as Sumex, is the first reseller of clean electricity in the country, offering its services to customers in the commercial sector as well as state and municipal governments, and has become a reliable company since their product comes from clean sources. According to Chairman of Sumex, Javier Garza, one of the main values of the company is to offer a service that doesn't impact it negatively on the environment. In 2024, power generation from clean sources should reach at least 35%, according to the Energy Ministry, a target which is expected to obtain thanks to the adoption of the new energy reform. Sumex has an ambitious investment plan. For 2016, it will invest 500 million pesos. Also, it plans to invest 1.35 million pesos in 2017 and 2.2 million pesos in 2018, which will involve a total investment of 4.5 million pesos in 2 years. At the end of May, Sumex confirmed that it already had 20 clients in Mexico, and with rapid commercial adoption, it believes that this can grow to 300 clients by this September. The manager said that Sumex has achieved an important milestone for the energy industry. Their business offering is very different from what has been previously in the market. Currently, Sumex is the only player in the market of clean power supply, so they have a competitive advantage. However, the company doesn't rule out the possibility that in the future, more companies of this type will enter the sector in Mexico. In other headlines, a few days ago, PepsiCo Mexico and the Ministry of Social Development signed an agreement to create the initiative Entrepreneurship for Growth, a project that seeks to support young people from vulnerable communities to improve their quality of life through learning. With this agreement, the two organizations will invest 14 million pesos to help about 4,000 young people, mainly from the states of Chihuahua, Jalisco, Michoacán, and the state of Mexico. The project will aim to provide soft skills through sport as well as hard skills through technical education, so they can obtain what they need to get a better job or to become young entrepreneurs. Vulnerable communities, especially the youth segment, need better solutions that are possible only if the public and private sector work together. In Mexico, it's necessary to multiply the opportunities, especially for youth, and this gives a support that is often given from the government. However, the business sector also drives this type of initiatives constantly. In Mexico, it's necessary to multiply the opportunities, especially for youth, and this is a support that is often given from the government. However, the business sector also drives this type of initiatives constantly. In Mexico, there are many talented young people who sometimes do not have the resources to prepare. However, thanks to such initiatives, every day more of them have access to a better future. Moving on, a little after 18 months since it was officially announced, the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, ICBC, the world's largest bank, has begun operations in Mexico. Previously in October 2015, the bank formally announced its plans to operate a subsidiary in Mexico. Yaogang Chen, executive director of the ICBC in Mexico, held a press conference with Mexican media delegates where he shared details of how the bank will conduct business in Mexico. The director explained that during the first 3 years of operations in the country, the bank will service only corporate clients within 3 strategic market niches: Chinese businesses established in Mexico, Mexican companies with interest in China, and ICB's global clients, particularly those recognized amongst the largest corporations in the world. The foremost industry sectors in which the ICBC is interested include infrastructure, manufacturing, energy and telecommunications, which is where China's most important companies are already established in Mexico. The other significant area of interest for the Chinese bank is Mexican government-controlled businesses such as Pemex and the CFE. Aiming for only a 0.5% market share of the banking system over the next 5 years, ICBC's short-term goal is not overly ambitious. The bank will not operate branches and will service clients strictly through its central offices located in Paseo de la Reforma. Initial capital for its Mexican subsidiary will total $50 million. Amongst the financial services offered by ICBC include accounts, investments, financing, and international commercial support. Despite global financial volatility, Yaogang Chen perceives Mexico as a leading economy in the LATAM region with strong growth potential. He said that Mexico is in a better situation than most other nations in the region, given that its economy doesn't rely solely on commodities, and that its domestic consumer market is very strong, while 80% of the country's exports are bought by the United States. He said, "We trust the growth of the Mexican economy." Financial sector analysts have commented that the entry of new foreign banks will stimulate greater competition to Mexico's existing financial services sector. At present, the market is dominated by two Spanish corporations, an American, a Canadian, a British, and two Mexican banks, BBVA Bancomer, Santander, Banamex, Scotiabank, HSBC, Banorte, and Inbursa, who jointly hold an 80% market share. As part of the diplomatic work to strengthen the commercial and touristic relationship between Great Britain and Quintana Roo, Raúl Andrade Angulo was host to the Baroness Lucy Neville Rolfe, Tourism Minister, accompanied by the British Ambassador Duncan Taylor. During the trip to Tulum's archaeological zona, the diplomats met and enjoyed the cultural and gastronomical wealth of the place, and got to hear about the history of the Mayan remains from certified tourist guides. Raúl Andrade Angulo indicated that for the governor, Roberto Borge Angulo, it is fundamental to continue working on setting the bases in touristic matters to maintain Quintana Roo as the leader in touristic matters on a national level, as well as in Latin America, that is today. The British market has had a sustained growth in the last years of around 2%. During 2015, 413,941 British tourists visited the state, from which 111,171 vacationed in Cancun and 302,770 in the Riviera Maya. After the English consulate was inaugurated in Cancun, bonds were tightened to make the relationship in touristic and commercial matters even stronger. This represents currently the main touristic market from Europe to Quintana Roo, followed by the Spanish, German, Italian, and French markets. Andrade Angulo added that the importance in this market for the state lies mainly in the fact that the average stay is of 15 nights and has an approximated €2,900 spending range, which makes them a high-spending tourist sector. The tourism secretary added that the main cities that travel the most are London, Birmingham, and Glasgow. And finally, in economics, the Mexican peso increased 0.22% to 18.55 from 18.51 in the previous trading session. The peso gained 17.6% during the last 12 months from 15.77 in June of 2015. Mexico's IPC index increased 1.68% to 45,465 on Wednesday, June the 29th, from 44,715 in the previous trading session. Mexico's IPC index gained 1.19% during the last 12 months from 44,928.52 points in June of 2015. That was all for today. Thank you for staying with us. I'm your host, Elliot Bullman, and remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Log on to our website, www.mexiconewsnetwork.com, for more information on Mexico and the world. Until next time.